All right, so I've been reading through the Gospel of Matthew lately. I haven't gotten that deep into it yet. I'm just on chapter 4, but I was very moved by chapter 4 and just wanted to talk about it a little bit. So, chapter 4 is the story of Jesus being tempted by the devil in the desert. I'll read straight through it first and then talk about it a little bit. This is Matthew chapter 4, verses 1 through 11, and I'm using the New King James Version. Then Jesus was led up by the Spirit into the wilderness to be tempted by the devil. And when he had fasted 40 days and 40 nights, afterward he was hungry. Now when the tempter came to him, he said, "If you are the Son of God, command that these stones become bread." But he answered and said, "It is written, man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeds from the mouth of God." Then the devil took him up into the holy city, set him on the pinnacle of the temple, and said to him, "If you are the Son of God, throw yourself down. For it is written, he shall give his angels charge over you, and in their hands they shall bear you up, lest you dash your foot against a stone." Jesus said to him, "It is written again, thou shalt not tempt the Lord thy God." Again the devil took him up on an exceedingly high mountain and showed him all the kingdoms of the world and their glory. And he said to him, "All these things I will give you, if you will fall down and worship me." Then Jesus said to him, "Away with you, Satan, for it is written, you shall worship the Lord your God, and him only shall you serve." Then the devil left him, and behold, angels came and ministered to him. So this occurs immediately after Christ's baptism. It's an image of several things. New Testament is almost always referring back to the Old Testament. Jesus is baptized and goes out into the wilderness to be tempted by the devil. The Israelites pass through the Red Sea and go out into the wilderness to go through all of their sufferings and testings. So Jesus fasts for 40 days and 40 nights. It's a number of purifications, again, repeated several times. You see it with Elijah when he goes into the wilderness. You see it in Noah's Ark when it rains for 40 days and 40 nights, another image of baptism. And you see it, the Israelites wander in the wilderness for 40 years because the old generation, the old unbelieving generation, that grew up in Egypt and could never fully let go of their Egyptian sensibilities had to completely die out and be replaced by a new generation who had only ever known trusting God in the wilderness, who had only ever lived according to the mercy of God, and therefore weren't afraid to enter into Canaan and take their inheritance. The only members of the old generation that were able to enter into the promised land were Joshua, Yeshua, and Caleb. Caleb, it says, was a Kenizzite, and it seems like there's no real solid knowledge of who the Kenizzites were exactly, but I saw theories that they're a type of Canaanite, or that they're a type of Edomite, so a descendant of Esau, or some type of ancient Arab. So, a descendant of Ishmael. I just thought it's interesting that Yeshua, Jesus, Joshua in the Old Testament, and he's the only one who can actually enter the Promised Land, along with Caleb, who is of the tribe of Judah. He inherits the land of Judah, but is ethnically from one of these cursed races, be it Canaan or Ishmael or Esau. It's just an interesting thing to think about, especially if you read Romans with that in mind, but I don't want to get too far into the weeds there. So Christ fasts for 40 days, and he's preparing himself to meet the devil in his flesh. He is a man. It says he hungers. He feels real hunger. He feels pain. He feels everything that a human being feels because he is a human being. And everything he's doing at this point, he's doing as a man. The devil comes to him. He sees that he's hungry and he says, "If you are the Son of God, if you really are who people are saying you are, and turn these stones into bread. And this is, on the surface of it, not a sin in and of itself. I mean, you already fasted for 40 days. That's a great and righteous deed that you didn't have to do. Why not go ahead and eat some bread now? What's so bad about that? And then also, I'll know that you really are the Son of God. But the problem is that he's telling him, turn these rocks into bread. Take the power of God and use it to fulfill your earthly desires and soothe your earthly appetites. It's an image of the original temptation, the one that all of mankind fell through. It's the first trick the devil ever tried on man. It's the first trick that he tries here on Jesus as man. Eve fed herself, taking the things of God, and Adam, desiring his wife, another type of earthly desire, followed after her, and so they both fell that way. But Christ doesn't do that. He says, man shall not live by bread alone. He doesn't take the power of God to fulfill his earthly desires. He can't be mastered that way. So the devil doesn't give up on that. He's dealt with great ascetics, people who can fast, people who can abstain from earthly desires before. He's thinking some of my greatest servants are great at fasting, at great at rule following. So he uses the weapon that he always uses on people who are outwardly righteous, who are good rule followers, who, if anybody from the outside looked at them, they would say, what a great and holy man that is. He does all of the things that he's supposed to do. He lives a very righteous life. That's, as far as you can tell from the outside. The weapon that Satan uses on people like that is pride. So that's what he comes at Jesus with. He takes Jesus, Satan, lifts Jesus up. He puts him on the pinnacle of the temple, the highest and holiest place, an extremely visible place. Satan puts him there. And he says, if you are the Son of God, if you really are who you say you are, throw yourself down. He said, okay, I see that you're a great faster. You can deny yourself all these things. You are clearly a holy person. I think you might really be this Son of God that people are saying you are. And tell you what, I'll put you up here where everyone can see. Everyone can see your holiness up on the pinnacle of this temple. Throw yourself down. And then everyone will know that you truly are the Son of God. And they will know how holy you are, and they will give you the honor that you deserve once they've seen that. You're meant to be worshipped anyway. You should be. But Jesus doesn't listen to the flattery. He does not ask the Father to publicly glorify him, even though he really is God. And unlike any of us, Jesus actually does deserve public glory. But he still doesn't take it. He does not ask God to glorify him. And he doesn't accept the high place that Satan has put him on. Notice he put him on a high and extremely visible place at the top of at the temple. He answers, thou shalt not tempt the Lord thy God, and leaves it at that. Now, the scripture Jesus is quoting, thou shalt not tempt the Lord thy God, that's from Deuteronomy 6:16. And the full quote, it says that thou shalt not tempt the Lord as you did in Massa, which is a reference to, it's Exodus? Yeah, it's Exodus chapter 17. That occurs immediately after the Israelites have tasted manna for the first time. It says they camp into the wilderness. They're out of the wilderness of sin. So the same type of place that Christ is. And they start demanding water because it says they're thirsty. And the way Moses reacts tells you that this is not a normal, hey, where we can get some water? People are getting pretty thirsty. Moses responds, why do you contend with me? Why do you tempt the Lord thy God? And we can infer from that, and from God referencing it later in Deuteronomy and Christ referencing it now, what they're demanding is to be shown a miracle. They just ate the manna. They know who God is. These are the people that walked through the Red Sea. They saw all the plagues of Egypt. They know exactly who God is and what he's capable of. What they want is for God to keep doing miracles for their benefit. They want a miracle when they want it, at their behest. It's a sort of false, like, God, show me your glory. But what you really are looking for is your own glory. You want God to do miracles at your behest. You're pretending to serve the Lord while actually asking him to serve you. And Christ doesn't fall for that. He does not seek public glory, and he does not try to demonstrate the power of God publicly, even though that would make his ministry more convincing. So with that, Satan sees that Jesus is not only righteous and capable of fasting and of denying himself, but he's something much more dangerous than that. He's also humble. That makes him a big threat to the devil. So he pulls out his last weapon, all the stops. He takes Jesus up to the mountain, and he shows him all the kingdoms of the world and all the power that the kings and nations and governments have. And he says to Jesus, look at all these nations. Look at all these people. You see how they're suffering under these tyrannical kings. All this oppression. You see how they're starving, how they steal and they hurt and kill each other. All of this chaos that God has just been allowing all this time. And the kings of the world are just using it for their own benefit. Jesus, you can stop all of this. Right now, I can make you king over all of these nations today. And you can stop all of this. You can end all the war. You can end all hunger. You can end all sickness. You can end all suffering. I know who you are. You are most suited for this power, for this throne. You can fix all of the problems of the world and end all of this suffering that's been going on. What has God been doing for all these people? Jesus, I know you love them. You're not going to let them just keep toiling, suffering, and dying like this. God is letting you use bits of power where he sees fit, according to his plans and his purposes. What's he doing for all these people? I can give you the power to fix all of this now. I will give you the world. I will give you your inheritance now. This minute, you can take it and fix everything. Just take this power, take your inheritance. All of this is rightfully yours anyway. There's no one better than you to hold this. And you can end it all with all the power of the world that you deserve. Just take it. And Jesus says, get away from me. He says, thou shalt worship the Lord thy God, and him only shall you serve. Which, to a modern ear, is a very mysterious thing, because these three temptations that Christ has just rejected, if you took them outside of this context where you can tell that it's coming from the mouth of the devil, they would seem like perfectly fine things. Why would you not want God to be glorified publicly? Why would you not want people to see how holy Christians are and how many good deeds that we do and how much power our God has? Why would you not want everybody to see that? Why would you not want, what's wrong with eating bread? What's wrong with enjoying wine, women, and song and earthly pleasures? These aren't inherently bad things. Why reject them so vehemently? And if you were offered all the power in the world and you knew that you really are the best person in the world who could end all human earthly suffering immediately, if you were given all this power, I mean, Christians still seek out earthly power to try to create the world that they want. It doesn't seem wrong to want to end wars and feed people. And all secular governments basically all the systems of government basically have this as their goal. They try different ways to get there, but they're all trying to provide material abundance and an end to earthly suffering as much as they can manage. But those are all run by sinful people. Christ here could have just taken it and been king of the world that he's supposed to be anyway. And he turns it down. And it's especially a great mystery because we know from Revelation that the Antichrist will come and he's gonna say yes to all these things. He's gonna be the Messiah that the world wants. That the people from John 6, who when they realized that Christ wasn't gonna give them bread again, just left. He's gonna be the Messiah that these people want. Barabbas, the revolutionary who wanted to overthrow the oppressive Roman government and set up a new kingdom of Judea. That's more like what they want. The Antichrist will come and he will feed everyone. He'll give all the bread for all the people. He will do signs and wonders so that everybody will know what his power is and they won't have a doubt about his identity. Unlike the seeming silence of the Christian God. And the Antichrist will take control of all the nations of the earth and rule in a way that will make all the people of the world happy. He'll end war and he'll cure diseases and end famines and all these other things. He'll be what the devil is tempting Jesus to be, and what the people of the world want. But Christ says, "Get away from me. Thou shalt serve the Lord thy God only." And so with that, Satan departs. And Christ at that point has overcome temptation while in his flesh as a man. And his victory over the devil and over these temptations is therefore our victory also, insofar as we are in the body of Christ. If sin can enter the world through one man, if temptation can conquer our flesh through one man, then temptation can also be conquered through one man. I think that's it. Thanks if you listen to all this.